Hello, 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 and welcome, my Cancerian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your work, career, and vocation reading for February and March 2021. I am your reader, Angelo. Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, son of a Cancerian mother, the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons. But you can call me Mal. Hey, my crab cakes, how are you? I hope you are doing well. I really love doing these readings because it gets me out of the twin flame, soulmate, true love zone, which I'm still doing the timeless true love reads with the extendeds while I'm doing these. It's the only way that I can keep the balance, it seems, running 2 series at a time. But hey, I'm a Virgo, and I was raised by a Cancerian mother, so my stuff better be on fleek, right? I have no idea what fleek means. Please comment below if you have any idea what that means. I don't feel like Googling it. That being said, let's get up in this gig. This is a general read. 9 cards, 3 cards from 3 different decks, looking at your life purpose, your work, your career, your vocation through the 3 levels of power as defined by Carolyn Myss, M-Y-S-S, PhD. This is her deck we'll be using for the first 3 cards down. There is a link in the description box below of her lecturing, teaching about the 3 levels of power, and this is just one way to look at it. In other words, you can use that lens to look at many things. This is life purpose, looking at it as your work, what you do to survive in the world, your career, your internal passion, hunger, and thirst, and your vocation, your spiritual calling. There are chakras in there. We'll get to all of it as we go. Other than that, remember, it is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and of course, check your other signs, right? We're going to look at this so holographically that you know, it might easily click in with your other planets or give you at least different insights into it from a different archetypal, internal, as well as external point of view. We'll get there. I think that's about it. Oh yeah, I'm doing tarot parties now online. My DrawingTheCircle Productions Facebook page, if you want. Taking only 10 people a week. If we need more, we'll add more, right? If it really catches on, it is a paid event. Yeah, there's a link in the description box for that too. And my new book we're shooting for, well, it's not my new book. I wrote Words of Grace 2018 during a dark night of the soul. It's what got me through it. It's helped a lot of people since, but it's hitting Kindle. So I actually took all previous versions down from the internet so that we can get this one up there. So we're shooting for the full moon in Virgo for the launch. We'll see. We're getting there. It's just fine-tuning at this point. And I am a Virgo. I can edit something forever. So that's why I got an Aries to be my Kindle editor. Dylan Martinson. Brilliant man. Shall we? Right, there's work, career, vocation. And getting those 3 in alignment isn't always necessary, but it can certainly be helpful. So let's do this. All the decks that I read are always in the description box. Please take a nice deep breath. Both feet on the floor if you can. It's just helpful to stay in the present moment. So the process of intuitive resonation, you're in your physical body. It's not even so much about what's going on around you, but what's going on within you. So please, here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of work, career, vocation, and the higher selves of all involved. I need 3 cards, work, career, vocation, 3 levels of power for this Cancerian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading, February and March 2021. Please, what is going on in their work, lower 3 chakras, physical world, physical power, how they survive, survival intuition, their career, heart, throat, third eye, and crown, personal world, psychological world, emotional power, mental power, and in the crown chakra, spiritual power, but also the power of choice, willpower, their passion, their hunger, what it is that sets their soul on fire, perhaps, career, their vocation, 8th chakra, spiritual power, symbolic level of power, visionary intuition. Yeah, their calling, the voice of their higher selves calling them forth. Those are 2. not take it really, no. Please, in clarity, that means definitely more than one archetype is at work, and that's okay. It's okay. One of them, definitely check your other signs. And also check last month, because I always do them 2 months, because it's work, career, vocation. Takes more time to unfold. So please, 8th chakra for the Cancerians, their vocation. There we go. That popped right out. Okay. I think they just wanted me to acknowledge that. All right, now the Carolyn Myss Archetypes cards are supposed to be a little triggery because of their shadow and light attributes that are written on them, and these are triggery anyway. Okay, I'm just going to get trigger warning. Here you go. Here's your trigger warning, Cancerian. There are so many different ways to interpret these words, and 2 of the words in and of themselves are triggering. So before I even tell you what they are, archetypes are neutral. They're neutral, positive and negative, light and dark, shadow and lead and gold, right? Toxic and healthy, fear and love. You are not these patterns. These are patterns that you incarnated with that have soul powers attributed to them that you are developing by alchemizing the lead to gold. Just because the first 2 of them are so triggering that even I'm going to put them in the title so you already know what they are, I guess. So I guess this is a moot point. You got the victim, the addict, and the hermit. Now, I'm going to say everybody has the victim archetype because it is a survival family archetype. And I have to say, Aries had the wounded child, right? The child archetype. Everybody has a child archetype. That's survival family of archetypes. Taurus had the prostitute. There's the child, the victim, the saboteur, and the prostitute. Well, you got the victim archetype. It's all about self-esteem and boundaries. We will get there. You've got the addict archetype, which is the wild card family, and it's all about external things having power over your spirit, and that can be anything, right? It could be a person, a place, a thing, a behavior, an attitude, right? But thankfully, you've got the hermit, which at this point, I think if that's what you're dealing with, either in yourself, a situation, or in your work and in your career, then your spiritual power, this seems to be a theme. Very much the Gemini was like this. The one I just did earlier today is like that. They had the king here in that 8th chakra, and immense spiritual power. I have to say for the hermit, which is the wisdom family, this is tricky. So click off now, right? If you're going to go in, oh no, I'm not ready for that. That's fine. Go watch your other signs. But I'm going to read these, right? If you're ready to go further, right? The shadow attribute of the victim. Everybody has the victim. Victor is the light side. We'll get there. See, I'm trying to like soften it for you, my Cancerians, because you're such tender hearts. Yeah, claws and shell on the outside, tender and sweet on the inner. Shadow attribute, playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity. Everybody's done it, particularly when we're kids, right? It's like, that's how we learn to survive sometimes. Staying home sick from school when you're not really sick, inability to maintain personal boundaries, and hello, that you gotta learn how to do that. We learn our boundaries from our families. Isn't that hysterical? Or lack thereof, right? Or the people that we grow up with, right? We inherit their boundaries. That's tribal boundaries. You can't get self-esteem from tribal energy. Self-esteem, right? Which is the light attribute, prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others, because it's all together in the same archetypal schemata. It's a schemata he got there. Oh, who was that? Joe Pesci? Was I just channeling? I think he's still alive. Is it possible to channel people who are still alive? Well, quantum. So look, there's the victim victor archetype. I wish you had put that word on there. It'd be easier to read on camera. Is the guardian of self-esteem and boundaries. So in your survival, I mean, you got a survival archetype in the survival level of power, right? The literal world, how you put food on the table. Here, the addict, you've got the shadow attribute. And look, everybody has an addiction. I know what mine are. I'm pretty good at understanding that there's pain underneath that needs to be addressed, but sometimes at the end of the day, you're like, no, right? And that's okay too. Learning curve for all of us. The shadow attribute compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. Like, how do you know an addict is lying? Their lips are moving, right? I didn't come up with that today. Don't drag me. I will admit that I have lied. But, you know, I'm 52 now. I lived through the 80s and the 90s, mind you. Not to mention this new millennium. So, you know, of course you have to learn how to heal that stuff, and this is how you do it. The light attribute helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior within yourself as well as another. The thing in particular, though, compromises integrity and honesty, usually within yourself. The things you tell yourself, and heart, third eye, crown, that might be going on here. Now, I will say, if your career is dealing, oh God, there's so many, they just showed me the quantum probabilities on this. It's a little overwhelming. Dealing with addictions, like if you are in a counseling field, in a medical field, you know what I mean, that sort of drug and alcohol, but that's not the only form of addiction. I mean, workaholism is a thing. I grew up around lawyers. You want to see people addicted to being right? Who are they bad when they lose a case, right? It's like they go through the stages of withdrawal. I've seen it. I've lived with it, right? And that doesn't always, that's maybe understandable for the courtroom, but not in personal, you know what I mean? Like, but obviously addicted to being right, addicted to attention. So what I'm saying is that you might be more in the light here in terms of your career, but you might have to be reevaluating your boundaries and your worth here in your work, right? So you might be dealing with, as well as there could be an addict at work, there could be an addictive energy. There's so many ways to do this, so I general read. Just trying to cover some bases here for the more triggering cards, because, honey, I love the Hermit. I am a Hermit. I'm the Hermit Witch of Holbrook, honey. I love living alone. I get to walk around naked at night. It's just so much fun. The cats don't care. They're naked, too. The Shadow attribute withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments of others. Well, I could see that happening this past year and up to now. Refusing to help those in need, though. See, in your spiritual power, that's tricky. That's tricky. And I'm going to say, if you're watching videos like this, particularly my channel, I'm a mystic. I'm not just spiritual. I'm a mystic, baby. Then chances are you're more the light attribute. Seek solitude to focus intently on inner life. Serves personal creativity. Now, look, if you really just take at the bottom of this, I'm going back to this addict archetype before we start laying tarot, because we're gonna. Addiction is always about avoidance of pain, and that's okay. Sometimes who's taught how to deal with that at a young age, right? So regardless of the form, even if it's an addiction to a persona that's not really true to who you are, which is sometimes what we have to do in this world, right? Who am I if I'm not that role, you know? The times we're in, we are in the crucible still. Let's just leave that there. The spiritual counselor is rising to the surface here, my Cancerian. So let's get you a little tarot narrative. Daughters of the Moon shows us the heart, throat, third eye, and crown. If you like, these three on the table are the 8th chakra of your work, career, vocation. This is the heart, your heart, throat, third eye, and crown here. Please take a nice deep breath. Yes, very, very much so. I hear you. Please, my goddesses of water and the sign of Cancer and your beloved healing. Please, 3 cards in clarity for this Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in their work, career, and vocation. 3 cards down. What is the internal stuff? Heart, throat, third eye, crown in their work, career, and vocation. With the victim, the addict, and the hermit there, please, so that they can bring this into alignment, like regardless of what boundaries they have to reassess or how they need to reevaluate their own worth. Self-esteem is a verb, not a noun. And whatever addiction is going on here, their own, somebody else's, that they can really keep with their honesty and integrity there. And obviously, that solitude that we all need there, that they pull inside their Cancerian crab shells, their hermit crab shells. Here we go, hermit crab. What's going on in their work? I feel you. In their career and their vocation. I'm taking my time with this, Cancer, so I really get the right cards in my hand. I mean, I do that all the time anyway. I try to, but this is triggering. Let's see what's going on inside of you. All air. That's lovely, at least, right? Oh, good, good, good. All air cards, no major arcana. A little bit of at least how you're dealing with this. Now, okay. This is the one that might be a little triggering, not so much in this deck. You got the Victim with the Three of Blades, which is the Three of Swords, but it's not that heartbreak here. It's just not that. It's a maiden, a mother, and a crone focusing. There are crystals involved, okay? In a desert, right? That looks like Egypt. They got the Sphinx on one side, the riddle of the Sphinx, really putting their minds together. Could be a mental collaboration, obviously. Maybe you are really focusing, getting to the heart of the matter, hence the three swords piercing the heart, of really focusing on what's going on here. And again, in terms of your boundaries, I feel like that's it. If there's an inability to maintain personal boundaries, then look at the time we're in. So many new boundaries and limitations we've had to accept as part of daily life. Why not? Boundaries have to be shifted throughout our lifetimes, because again, I say it all the time when this card comes up, or if a boundary-oriented thing comes up. Don't talk to strangers is really important for a 4-year-old. Nightmare in a 24 or 44-year-old, right? Those have to shift and change as we go. So in your work, you're looking at your new boundaries, but don't forget, self-esteem is a verb, not a noun. Okay, that is very Carolyn Myss. It is very important to know, because it is your foundational power, is your ability to estimate yourself, which is all about assigning value. Oh, my pillow fell down. I have a back pillow, but I forgot to use it. Comfort. The Addict with the Ace of Blades is really not that bad. The truth is coming to you. A new thought. This is the Oracle of Delphi, the Pythia, sitting on her tripod, huffing some ethylene gas out the crack of the wall in the temple. She's going on, someone else is writing it down, someone else is translating it. That seems like a cushy job, considering essentially you're sniffing ether all day long. Nice work if you can get it. But that's an interesting reference there for an addict archetype. Look, sometimes we have addictions in play we don't even know we do. Or you are really getting a hit, a heart, throat, third eye, crown hit, maybe even a clairvoyance flash of something that really you see the addictive pattern, so that you can address it and confront it. Now, this may not be in you. Now here's why. I'm not just trying to talk you out of or into anything. I'm just saying that if you're reevaluating and really getting inside yourself, nobody maybe knows about this yet, that you're really I've got to reassess things here. I have to reestimate not just myself and my work, career, vocation, but I have to really look at, where are my boundaries here? What will I do? What won't I do? Right? And there's new thought coming into that. So hang in there on that, because you've also got an air card in your vocation, and it's an interesting one. Now, in the traditional tarot, people don't like the Eight of Blades because it's blindfolded and bound, right? With all them their swords sticking in the ground. This is different. I love this deck. This is Chokhmah, Israeli goddess of the desert, I believe desert winds, and she is spinning in the air 8 sickles. I'll call them sickles. They're not sides, they're definitely sickles. She's juggling sickles, which is a little hard to say. And in the Hermit mode, that really is going inside and looking at your decisions. It's what's literally written on the card. Now, Chokhmah is also a sphere in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Oh God, I'm horrible at names, even sacred ones. I'm sorry. I think it's the one associated to the third eye. You might want to check out Carolyn Myss's Anatomy of the Spirit. I swear I got no kickbacks from her or Hay House or any of their, or Sounds True or any of that. No. Bless them all. Her work has really made, she's just been pivotal in my life. If I ever meet her, I will try not to cry and fangirl. That's how I am. Yeah, there's a healer for you. So yeah, going up into that 8th chakra and seeing the decisions from the Hermit's point of view. Now the Hermit, this is not the Hermit Tarot, but I'm going to say it's got some elements of it for sure. 8th chakra, right? Get up in there, right? The soul center. See things from the satellite. That's what readings are really for, if you think about it, right? You're looking at it from the highest point of view that you can integrate and understand at the time. And, different altitudes according to our attitude. Our attitude does often determine our altitude and vice versa. So a lot of air. 3 of Blades, get into the heart of the matter in your work, really having this insight, the Ace of Blades. And I don't feel like this is something coming into you horizontally. I think it's coming in vertically as a result of you really seeing all the different directions, like being in the middle of the desert with just winds coming from every direction, right? Which way do I go? Which way do I go, George? Which way do I go? All right, but better to do that from the spirit, right? The higher self knows all that stuff. GPS. Okay, last 3 cards down. This is a really cool reading. I mean, considering the archetypes on the table, this doesn't feel in my gut for a Cancerian like something you can't handle. It may be something you've dealt with before even. So please, my gods of water and the sign of Cancer, please 3 cards face down. Work, career, vocation for this Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. And what's going on in the root sacrum, solar plexus, the physical aspect of this, the yang aspect of this, my gods, for them and their work, career, vocation. Drop those shoulders. February. Yeah, you carrying somebody else's responsibilities that you're not, that they're not, right? You carry those who can walk, their legs will wither. I'll never forget when my guide said that to me. So please, my gods, what's going on here? The victim archetype with focus on the inner, what's going on the outer? The addict archetype with the Ace of Blades, the One of Blades, the Sibyl on the inner, what's going on the outer? And the Hermit with the 8 of Blades in their vocation. Chokhmah, H-O-K-H-M-A, if you want to look into that a little bit more. I know it's Kabbalistic. Just can't remember. I don't think it's throat chakra. It's either throat chakra or third eye, and I don't think it's crown. Yeah, what does this look like in the outside for these Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this read? Okay. Well, all right. This softens it a bit, actually. For we got the victim archetype. Everybody's got that. Keep saying that, right? Read Sacred Contracts. Such a life changer. Really an about life purpose. For what purpose did you incarnate? The whole book. With that 3 of Blades, this intense focus, and on the outside, the Page of Cups, which, yes, we can say when a romantic, someone's offering their cup here, but I don't think that's what this is. This is Narcissus. I mean, I know the word narcissist comes from him, but oddly enough, they're not really self-reflective. He was, right? It's a long story. Don't when you mess with the gods, just be careful. If you slight them, you end up staring at your reflection for so long, you turn into a flower, right? This is a card of possible self-love, like really taking that internal time, not necessarily pulling back from work, but that Page of Cups, taking the invitation, the message to go within, to self-reflect, self-love, giving the voices within yourself the time that they need. And part of why I say that, not just getting to the heart of the matter, the 3 of Blades mentally, but with this addict archetype in the career, with this Ace of Blades, this new idea, it comes through the High Priestess. So this is probably something you're not going to share with people. You're going to keep it on the secret, keep it on the intuitive, but I also feel like, hey, I'm a witch. Find yourself a High Priestess, right? Or in that genre, right? I mean, in a way, that's what readers do. Sort of, right? We peek beyond the veil, but it's really, this is Persephone as queen of the underworld, 6 months out of the year, deeper knowledge, hidden knowledge. But here we see her literally standing right inside the gates of the underworld where she lives half of the year. She's the guide. She holds the torch. Lady, maiden of spring, summer lady, queen of the dead, queen of the underworld. It's lovely down there. It really is. Everybody's so afraid of it. It's not hell. It's not. Hell is for children. So whatever is going on here, this insight, it might be coming through you as more of a mystical thing, not just intuitive here, but you really seeing something as a result of here's why, right? You got the Hermit with this decisions card, and on the outside, a bolt of lightning. I don't know, like this obviously could be something happens abruptly in the outside world. This is the lower 3 chakras. But this could also be you're struck by lightning. You're struck by a piece of truth, a piece of spiritual truth. Something is really revealed to you, and you see your decisions from a much higher place. But I think when you have the Hermit, the High Priestess, and particularly that victim with Page of Cups and the Three of Blades on the inner, this is about going in and addressing pain. One would think, even if you want to do Three of Swords, Three of Blades as heartbreak, which I don't really see it as that, because the heart's not actually broken. Pamela Coleman Smith did not paint a broken heart. It was a pierced heart, and it's an air card thought, so to get to the heart of the matter, to focus on oneself, on are your boundaries being violated at work in a way that's really giving you pain emotionally. You know, sometimes that can even be that you're an empath and you're picking up on other people's stuff and you need this time to heal. But why would, okay, so let's say they're just giving me a scenario here. So somebody whose work in the world, even if it's from home, right? Even if it's dealing with people in that way, empathy travels through concrete and lead. It can certainly make its way through the wires and the screen, so to speak. And it's just your boundaries are getting violated somewhere there, and you're picking it all up. Well, then why wouldn't you, in your free time, when people, if they're working, usually do focus on career, do something that really is of that spiritual thing of confronting, what is this inside of me? There is insight, there is wisdom here, but it's a wild card family archetype, the Addict. You never know what you're going to get. There is always a risk there, right? The femme fatale, right? That whole family is just, there's a reason why they don't fit into all the rest of them. And with that High Priestess and that Ace of Blades, really, I know this sounds silly, but meditate. Really, go within. I mean, that's, I think, if I don't meditate every day, I'm a fucking madman by 5 p.m. I just need it, right? That's like brushing my teeth at this point. Because with this Hermit, this is your power. I'm going to say somewhat like the Gemini read here. The Hermit, with your decisions, you have options, you have decisions, but you may be thinking yourself bound. Well, with that Tower, this is Poseidon, the Earth Shaker, right? The foundation, something's being struck, but this can be a belief system, this can be any number of things, but I see with the amount of air in this spread, like we're going to say, what is the dominant energy here? You've got 2 major arcana cards, 1 water card, 1 cup, and 3 air cards. I mean, this is really something to think about. And you are a Cancerian, so of course there are emotions here, but this is saying you really need to pay attention to what's going on energetically inside of you. And your Hermit time, my Hermit crabs, absolutely necessary and essential. So, breathe. My pantheons of the divine, please may the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, receive this blessing that they may be blessed with all that they need in their work, career, and vocation to get up into that Hermit archetype, up in that crown chakra, seeing their decisions from the GPS point of view and really seeing what this Tower moment is, that it's the finger of God, the Yod, the divine intervening to take care of something that has grown stagnant or toxic. That in their career with this Addict archetype, whether it's them, whether it's somebody else, whether it's a situation, whatever pain is going on here, that they receive this clarity, that Ace of Blades as the High Priestess or from a High Priestess type, so that they can really reassess their boundaries and reevaluate themselves, reestimate themselves, get to the heart of the matter here, so that their self-reflection may be the embodiment of the wisdom of the Hermit, and the ability, right, to recognize and confront addictive behavior within themselves and others, so that they may be victorious, alchemizing that victim into victory in their work along with their career and vocation, for their well-being, for the well-being of all concerned, and for the well-being of all. So mote it be, and so it is. There you go, my Cancerians. Tricky read, but what a powerhouse. There is victory here for you. Gonna have to work it though. It is work, career, vocation. So if you liked it, like it. You want more, subscribe. Want to comment? If you can, please do so. Always welcome to. Otherwise, you want to hang out with me in a tarot party, check out the deets below. The deets are in the links below. And really, otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of your work, career, vocation, February and March 2021, my crab cakes. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.